look, if you're feeling this economy, there's no way that you're buying what they're selling right now.
Absolutely.
So the polling is inflated. It always is. It's a brand new, shiny new object. And,
That's right.
and Barack and Michelle last night were really selling it for Kamala and so on and so forth. Well, they pretty much had to because she was next door at a fundraiser in Wisconsin.
Right.
Well, not next door, but nearby.
Sure.
So it's interesting. The big stars in the party carry her flag for her, and the media does, some of them too.
Yeah,
I mean,
what a shame.
Who gets a pass like that?
What a disappointment the media has been for all of us, really letting down the American people.
As the 2024 presidential election approaches, Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner is sounding an urgent alarm to American voters. Her message is clear and uncompromising. Look beyond the polished political narratives and media spin to grasp the true state of the nation. Faulkner's warning comes at a critical juncture in American politics, with the country deeply divided and facing numerous challenges, from economic concerns to border security issues. The stakes of this election couldn't be higher. The political landscape is fraught with intense campaigning, heated debates, and a media environment that often seems more focused on spectacle than substance. In this context, Faulkner's voice stands out as a call for voters to cut through the noise and focus on the realities that affect their daily lives. She argues that a dangerous disconnect exists between the rhetoric of politicians and so-called experts and the experiences of ordinary Americans. In a scathing critique of so-called expert opinions shaping public perception, Faulkner questions their reliability.
Well, I'm a little concerned about when you get 51 experts and they have anything to do with our economy, our national security. How often are they this wrong?
Yes.
I mean, we happen to know about this time, but if these are the people that they're consulting on a regular basis, it might explain a lot of the failure that we see. And should we maybe bump some of those people out of the circle? Like, you know, Biden promised that if somebody wasn't doing the right thing on day one, remember the 1,000-person Zoom or whatever it was? And he was saying, I'm going to get rid of whoever doesn't do their job or is not kind. And he had all the things. And of course, he hasn't really applied that promise. But this would be a place, well, maybe those are the people you shouldn't be listening to. And by the way, can you tell us where else they haven't been right so that we can prepare for that?
This skepticism towards expert opinion is particularly relevant in the current political climate. In recent years, we've seen a growing distrust of traditional sources of authority, including academic and policy experts. Faulkner's comments tap into this sentiment, suggesting that the repeated failures of these experts might be contributing to broader issues in governance. Her pointed reference to unfulfilled promises resonates in an era where voter cynicism is high, serving as a wake-up call for voters to scrutinize campaign promises more closely. Faulkner's warning takes on a more urgent tone when addressing the issue of illegal immigration and its impact on public safety.
Yeah, I mean, look no further than this case, and you know what's at stake for both of those presidential candidates Thursday night. It is Trump's border policies versus Biden's border politics. And if you want to know just how deep the politics go to the fact that even his Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas couldn't speak of one victim per name. Now, we've had enough of these situations that we're at a tipping point, I would imagine. Like, Biden's going to have to do more than just blame the Republicans. I don't know what Thursday night will look like, but on this Monday, that court, oh my goodness, they saw that mom who was so brave before the microphones today, sitting just feet away from one of the monsters who took her little girl.
Immigration remains one of the most contentious issues in American politics, and Faulkner's comments highlight how it's likely to be a key battleground in the upcoming election. By focusing on a specific case and its human impact, she's urging voters to look beyond statistics and policy debates to consider the real-world consequences of immigration policies. Faulkner's concern extends to the disconnect between political events and the pressing issues facing American cities.
I don't know how you don't mention how to make life better here in Chicago. You had Chicago's golden son on the dais last night at that convention, Barack Obama.
Yes, that's right.
And I now call him the closer, the commander and closer, because it was his job to just close the door on Biden. Too bad it wasn't his job when he was in office not to close the door on crime, or at least draw attention to it in his own home city. And he missed that opportunity again last night. Look, she's not day one ready to fight the kind of crime that we're seeing here. It's worse here than it is in New York, at least statistically. It's less random here, perhaps, because it is in some certain concentrated areas. But murder is murder. And anybody can be a target. And we're seeing those numbers tick right back up. And it's really, really disconcerting when you're in the middle of it.
This critique of political theater versus real-world problems is particularly poignant in an election year. As candidates crisscross the country making speeches and attending rallies, Faulkner is reminding voters to pay attention to what's happening in their own communities. Her focus on crime rates and quality of life issues in major cities like Chicago touches on concerns that many voters prioritize but feel are often overlooked in national political discourse. Faulkner also draws attention to the challenges facing Vice President Kamala Harris, particularly regarding her past statements on health care policy.
Vice President Kamala Harris's past is haunting her now. She pushed to eliminate private health insurance and force 150 million people onto a government plan. Americans are waiting to hear exactly what her current plan will be for their health care. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. This is a big issue for so many people, particularly those who are retired and on a budget. You got to know whether or not you can keep your doctor. The campaign totally flip-flopping on her 2019 position when she was running for president the first time and didn't get a single delegate on her side of the aisle. A senior official is telling Fox News that the VP, quote, will not push single-payer or Medicare for all.
This critique highlights the evolving stance of Harris on health care policy, a crucial issue for many voters. Faulkner points out the apparent contradiction between Harris's past advocacy for eliminating private health insurance and her current campaign's position. This shift raises questions about policy consistency and the potential impact on millions of Americans, especially vulnerable groups like retirees. By emphasizing this flip-flop, Faulkner urges voters to scrutinize candidates' past positions and current promises carefully, particularly on issues that directly affect their daily lives and long-term financial security. In her final warning, Faulkner emphasizes the importance of seeing through political manipulation and media bias.
Well, one thing that's different in past years, like 2016, 2020, is that people will talk to you about how they feel. So I think it's not just disingenuous, it's a lie.
Yeah.
When these leaders in the White House, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, say that they don't know how people feel and that suddenly it's news to her. You know how the polls are being impacted right now? They have a complicit legacy and liberal media to help them out.
That's right.
I mean, that's playing a role. And look, there are questions about, even with all of that, why is it so close?
Yeah.
Why can't she pull away? Because people see the truth, they're living it every day, and they still feel unheard.
This statement cuts to the heart of current debates about polling accuracy, media bias, and the disconnect between political narratives and voter sentiment. In an age of information overload and fake news accusations, Faulkner is advocating for a return to grassroots understanding of voter concerns. Her suggestion that political leaders and media are out of touch with average Americans' feelings echoes a sentiment that has fueled populist movements on both sides of the political spectrum. As America stands at a crucial crossroads, Harris Faulkner's urgent warning resonates with increasing clarity. Her message to voters is unequivocal. Look beyond the polished speeches, expert opinions, and media narratives. Trust your own experiences, question the information you receive, and make your decision based on the realities you face every day. In this high-stakes election, where issues like the economy, immigration, crime, and the very nature of American democracy are on the ballot, Faulkner's call for voter discernment is more crucial than ever. As the country navigates through a complex web of political messaging, misinformation, and competing visions for the future, the power to shape the nation's course lies not just in the hands of politicians, but in the discerning minds of American voters. Faulkner's warning serves as a reminder that in a democracy, the ultimate responsibility and power rests with the electorate. As voters head to the polls in what promises to be a pivotal election, her words urge them to cut through the noise, think critically, and make informed decisions based on their own lived experiences and values.